Good afternoon. It's good to be here. First of all, to thank Carl for inviting me. Since I'm retired and I sort of loaf around at home, so it's good to be doing something positive. I think that the issue of education really is stuck in our face. We all have seen the results of our EDCs, where literally 180 to 200,000 of our kids do not pass, and that's like an army of 1 million people in 5 years. So it's certainly a time bomb for us, and we may not be too far from the Arab Spring. In our discussions, the role of the private sector, we focused on whether really Ghana, given the type of crisis we have, we are ready to engage as a government, the private sector, because we need everybody on board. And that's a challenge because the psychology of the ministry or GES may not give you room to operate. So it's a time now for us to sit down in a public-private partnership to ensure that we move in tandem. Recently, schools have been paying taxes, and it was not quite clear whether they should, but IRS always took their taxes from them. And it took a secondary school to get into the courts to finally get government to realize that should not be taxed. But that leads to the mindset of we ourselves as Ghanaians not maybe appreciating the importance of education enough. In terms of sort of global examples, it is quite clear that all around the world something is being done with education, and you can look at the charter system in the States, which really was saying let's reduce the control of the federal government, the local government, the municipal government, to make sure that parents have a lot more influence and you can be more flexible with your curriculum. In the UK, I think there was a Learning and Skills Act, which essentially said that publicly funded schools could also be managed privately and controlled by them. So are we as a country at the point where we realize that if we take kids through 6 years and 80% of our women cannot read or write and 70% of men cannot, clearly we are not doing things right and we can't continue in the same way. There has to be some intervention and it has to be collaborative. We have to feel like we are one people looking to transform our economy. So on the private sector front was let's adopt schools, find ways in which private sector can adopt schools, but there has to be a framework in which they engage, and that's important. We can very easily get into technical and vocational. We see the benefits of it. Curriculum development, we should be part of it, and that will make it skill specific for what we need. We could be great mentors and give demonstration effect for people to become entrepreneurs, and also encourage entrepreneurship training in our schools. There was an idea specifically about how women are disadvantaged, and in looking at our results, clearly half or more than half are not passing through the system properly. So maybe if GE as Minister of Education, it could be a softer entry for the private sector. The people, the lodestone that you rejected, maybe we could take that and really come up with schemes and curricula which would then give people a second chance, and that may be easier to craft a partnership agreement on. I think there's no, as I stand here, went to a Saito school in Chebi, and then did the Kanda cluster and Totobabi cluster. Before my dad came, and then I got to go to Legon Primary, Nachimoto Primary. And basically the issue of good quality education is what has made the difference. And I see my colleagues in Chebi, and it's a world of difference. Clearly just supervision in schools, teaching people well, and all of these people who have technically failed and have the capacity to do so much for our country. So we are in a situation where I don't think we should take it lightly. We as private citizens should force a certain stakeholder important dialogue on the way forward and to ensure that our future as a country is secure. Thank you very much for this.